Hi, everyone. So we have Arnav here from Zilliqa. He'll be talking about the DeFi landscape, and in the end, probably take a couple of questions. Yeah, Arnav, is that if that's okay? And I'll be taking questions from Telegram also. So by the time you're done, if you want, you can share the screen. And yeah, the stage is yours.
Okay, so I'll just share my screen and okay. Hi everyone. In this, I guess this is the opening sort of session, and this year DeFi is really hot, and this year and even last year, and you could even write books about DeFi summer, the kind of I guess crazy things that happened during that time, the scams, the innovation, the airdrops, the community, and so on. In this sort of presentation, I would just give you a brief on how it started and how to navigate the DeFi ecosystem, and what are some exciting things that are coming up in DeFi, and maybe also since I work at Zilliqa, we have some DeFi initiatives ourselves, some projects that are building on Zilliqa. So I'll also cover about that, if you want to get involved and stuff. Um, so to start things off, you could sort of divide DeFi is like you could sort of think of it as decentralizing traditional financial services. Most of the ideas that are currently in DeFi are actually not new in a way that most of the ideas, some of those are new. They use blockchain in a way that like blockchain has enabled some use cases that weren't possible before, but the problems sort of that they're trying to solve are similar, right? Like if you want to basically the four problems sort of that I would say is like exchange, if you want to go from one asset to another, if you want to lend and borrow assets, if you want to do market making, and there's fund management as well. So these are some broad areas. I don't think they cover everything, but I would say it's decent. Like this would give you a good idea of how to look at the space. So let's sort of just talk about each of them one by one, and then also cover some other areas. So just before actually diving into these as well, I want to talk about stable coins, right? Because now they have become really popular, but some of you might have used one. I guess still you are, at least if you have not used one, you would have heard about it. And they are basically crypto tokens whose value is equal to fiat currency. So that can be USD, SGD, Euro, whatever. And basically, they sort of give you a false safety in a way, or if you are a Bitcoin maximalist or any crypto token maximalist, um, like in the long term you are looking to increase the value of a bitcoins, right? So but they sort of, for many normies or for many traders as well, like if you think that say the market is going to go down, what you could do is you could convert your BTC to a stable coin, and they are basically stable coins live directly on the blockchain. So you don't need to go to a bank and pay taxes and stuff or whatever. I don't know how. It depends on where you're living. Like for example, in Singapore, you can there's like zero crypto tax, right? But in some areas there are some various tax laws. But essentially, what stablecoins allow you to do is to live in the blockchain world, and you can convert to stablecoins if you think that the market is going down, or just for like portfolio allocation as well. Say you have some amount in crypto, you can have say 20% allocated in some stable coins. Just say if you want to buy a dip, or you maybe just want to hedge your risk or whatever. So stablecoins were actually a large driver of DeFi, and MakerDAO was the main like stablecoin that enabled it. Basic because when you have like most of crypto assets right now are not used as medium of exchange, or even a unit of account. It's mostly the store of value and stuff, right? So it's like stablecoins opened up various markets so that people could buy and lend using USD. Mostly that's what's getting used. And you could denominate your positions in stable coins. So yeah, that they have grown exponentially. I think this 20 billion number it is now even more than that. It's like around 40-50 billion or something uh, currently. And you could earn interest by depositing stable coins in lending protocols, and do interesting things. And some examples of stable coins are USDT, which is the most sort of liquid, and the stable coin which has a maximum supply, and then USDC, which is by Circle. They are highly regulated, and I think Coinbase works with them. And yeah, they are also growing a lot, especially during the past year or so. And DAI is a decentralized sort of stable coin, and XSDD is another Singapore dollar stable coin. So these are some examples. Now, decentralized exchange. So now let's come talk about exchanges, right? So there has been rise of AMMs, which stands for basically automated market makers, and they allow people to like pool liquidity. So if I have, say, Arnav token or whatever, and I have ETH, I can pool liquidity, add Arnav token and ETH in a pool, and anyone can, if someone has ETH, they can buy Arnav token. If they have Arnav token, they can sell Arnav token. And actually, if you look at the history of decentralized exchanges, I have been a user of DEXs from like 2016, 17. Like Ether Delta, I was one of the earlier users, and then Fork Delta, IDEX, Kyber, all of these DEXs that have come up. The main issue has been that with blockchain, you have um, like 20-30 second block time, and then there is a transaction fee associated with things as well, which is different from the traditional order book model, where people where you could just place an order in an order book, and you don't need to pay any fees, and it's instant. So people actually innovated around a mechanism for decent exchanges that sort of solve the problem of blockchains, and which is that you couldn't is these main two problems, which were that blockchains are slow and they're expensive, right? So AMMs allow people to pool liquidity in a pool, and the price of like basically you pool liquidity in two assets. Although there are some AMMs like Balancer where you could have more assets and stuff, but let's assume like we have only two assets. And when you pool liquidity, basically the price of one asset is determined from the price of another asset. And usually one asset is like, say, an ERC20, like say any random token, and another asset is usually a larger asset like ETH, USDC, USDT, DAI, whatever. And yeah, that's usually how AMMs work. And the advantage of AMMs from a user perspective is that you can trade tokens that are not listed on exchanges. So getting listed on exchanges in 2017 was actually really expensive, and and there's a lot of people, exchanges were charging a lot of exchange fees, and there was there was not much clarity around yeah, like for a token project, for them to get listed. For the initial token holders, it was not clear that they will get liquidity, exit liquidity, where their token will be listed on exchange and stuff. um, so these exchanges allow anyone to create liquidity. So I can, if I raise say 1,000 ether or something in a crowd sale, I could use say 200 ether to add liquidity. So I could use 200 ether, and I could use another token, say my own token, to add liquidity, right? On an exchange, and the trading happens in a non-custodial way, so funds are always safe. And then also we have lending, borrowing, and fund management. So basically, you could lend and earn interest on your idle assets. So that's the second main, area of DeFi. You could borrow another crypto asset without, selling your original asset. So right now in DeFi, it's all over collateralized. So if you want to say borrow $100 worth of token X, you will deposit like $200 of your token Y or something. But yeah, it's still quite interesting. Like if you want to say hold on to your ETH and you want to borrow some token to participate in some DeFi project, or maybe you want to participate in some governance or whatever, with another token, you could put up your ETH, and then you can lend that token, and you could then deposit back that token and gain back access back to your ETH. So yeah, that's the other another area of interest that has popped up, and Aave and Compound are the main two players here. And then another sort of in the same line you could think about it is Wi-Fi and Harvest Finance and these Pickle Finance and stuff, which is like you basically deposit your assets in a smart contract, and then they look at various yield strategies in DeFi, and they try to optimize your yield. So, for example, if you deposit your DAI or USDC or whatever in various AMMs, you earn some AMM tokens, like reward tokens as well, and you also earn basically um, yeah, you also earn trading fees. So Wi-Fi is or trying to optimize your yield for you, so you don't need to think about it. It's done through a smart contract, so you don't need to worry that someone would take your funds. Like people review the code, and usually they go through an audit and stuff as well. So yeah, that's the fund management part, where it's sort of like if you have used like fund management services like Wealthfront, where you deposit your money and they automatically invest into the best available sort of yield strategy. So Wi-Fi and all these uh, products are similar to that. And now let's yeah, so these are like the major players, right? Like Uniswap, Aave, Wi-Fi, and but like what's stopping the growth of DeFi right now, right? Like it's like it's with DeFi, it makes so much more sense, logically speaking. Instead of, say, for example, going to a bank and getting like depositing some assets and getting another asset, and then it's so much simple. Or on you can use Aave, and you can deposit your funds and get back another token in like some seconds or something, right? And but what's exactly stopping DeFi? One is high transaction fees and scalability. So right now the swap, if you want to swap from one asset to another on Uniswap, it's like $50 worth of fees. And if you are a normal like retail person who's putting in like $1000 or whatever, it most of the time it doesn't, like the fees is just too astronomical. It's too astronomical. And there's also smart contract risk. So there was a hack with Eminence hack, which was very famous hack, and like most of the smart contracts that people were launching during DeFi summer were very very fast. And I think with smart contract development is a different ball game altogether, in terms of like comparing it to other types of software development. And yeah, you need to build slow, and you need to test things out well, have some bug bounty program or whatever, get things audited. But many of the projects that were launching were not doing those. And even projects that actually did those, like Alpha got hacked for like, or not Alpha, yeah, Alpha got hacked, and they got around 38 million lost or something. And Alpha is like was audited really really well, and it had a supposedly it has a very good team working behind it, but still it got hacked. So that is smart contract safety risk is definitely one. But I guess with time, these things reduce, like especially for projects that are around for like 2-3 years, or even for 1 year or something. The smart contract safety risk is sort of reduced. So I guess many of like many the compound code, for example, is has been around for some time, and people are now sort of trusted. So I think most of these things would get sorted. But there are some issues with Solidity itself that make it difficult to write smart contract safely as well. It's not a functional programming language or whatever. And also the UX of DeFi is slightly complicated. Although this can be argued, the UX of DeFi assets is simple, but the issue is the UX of blockchain is complicated for many people, like paying gas fees, then waiting for transactions to get confirmed, then waiting for there are some cases where your transaction doesn't get confirmed and you even pay fees. So these are some things that it's difficult for people to understand. I think on main chain like main Ethereum or it's not going to be like it will be difficult to get user like mass adoption, but on layer twos or some other layer ones, it's I think that's where the UX of blockchain can be really improved. um, so yeah, also I want to talk about this some interesting projects which is like in the NFT and DeFi space, which is NFTx and NFTx. um, so I'm sure that most of you would have heard about NFTs, right? So like NFTs are non-fungible tokens, and they can represent any asset basically in the world can be represented as an NFT. And NFTx is one project that if I show you this, I guess it would be good to show their website and stuff as well. Is where you could like create an index of your NFTs. So yeah. So as you can see here, this is, for example, the hash mask index. And you can see that in this NFT and in this NFTx pool, there is basically some hash masks ID. So there are like 16,384 hash masks existence. So you can see that this pool currently has 785 hash masks, and these are the IDs of those hash masks. And hash mask is just like it's like a crypto art sort of NFT, which has some storyline around it. And essentially, what NFTx allows you to do is you could basically gain access. Like if say you want to bet on the hash mask market itself, you don't want to bet on a particular hash mask price going up. What you could do is you can come to NFTx, and they have this pool on SushiSwap. So you could trade your, for example, so what you could do is you can come to their pool, and you could uh, what you could do is you could directly buy mask token. And you could mask token essentially represents the average value in a way of the NFT. And you can gain access to the whole, like it's sort of like an index. You're betting on the overall masks market going up. You're not betting on a particular NFT. You are betting on the overall mass market going up. So that's a interesting project, I think. Like if you go to CoinGecko and look at this NFTx hash mask index and stuff, you could see that if you go to markets, that there's a market on SushiSwap where you could trade mask and ETH. And essentially what basically happens is that I talked about the buyer side of things, right? If you want to bet on the whole mask market, what you could do is you could just buy things from SushiSwap, directly put in your ETH, and exchange and get access to your to the mask token. But if say you wanted to buy uh, yeah, if you but say on the seller side, like what's the incentive for say sellers to deposit NFTs and stuff, right? Like why did everyone deposit this NFTs on this NFTx pool? So the reason is that there's an arbitrage opportunity. So people can basically yeah, people, what you could do is, like, say if you go to NFT marketplace like OpenSea, and you see that an NFT is selling for like 1.3 ETH, right? And you see that the price of NFT was around 1.6 ETH. That's the price that I saw on CoinGecko right now. What you could do is an arbitrager can go to OpenSea, and they can buy that NFT for 1.3 ETH and then deposit it in this pool, and they will be able to get 1.6 ETH back. And the opposite as well. Like if say the price of this of the mass token is like 2 ETH, and there's an NFT like on OpenSea, NFTs are say uh, are going for like sorry, if the price here is 1.3 ETH and on OpenSea NFTs are going for 2 ETH, you could buy from here for 1.3 ETH and sell on OpenSea for 2 ETH. This arbitrage opportunity, and this NFTx protocol is actually ideal for like floor value NFTs. They're not like, these are the lowest value NFTs, like NFTs that people don't value that much. They are not rare NFTs that you're putting in a pool. So yeah, it's slightly, if you want to read more about it, you can go to this nftx.org, their website, and try it out as well. Also, this project called NFTx, where you can fractionalize your NFT. So this is sort of like, you can think of it like any sort of tokenization, like real estate tokenization or whatever, where you are locking your asset in somewhere, and then you are creating ERC20 tokens that sort of represent ownership in that asset. So this is valuable for higher value NFTs, and NFTx is valuable for lower, like it's used for low value NFTs. So NFTx can be used, for example, for this rare punk. You like, someone created fractions and they got like they sold at a valuation of 175 ETH for this one punk, and you got multiple owners that sort of own this NFT, and they also have a buyout mechanism where if someone wants to buy the whole NFT, they can do so as well. Um, so yeah, that's NFT DeFi, and I think we are just also running out of time. I'll just take 5 minutes to talk about some of our things that we're doing at Zilliqa. Also, then we can take Q&A. So Zilliqa is a layer one. We were the first to implement like sharding on mainnet, and started by a team of computer scientists from NUS, and we started in 2017, and we have our main USPs are our sharded architecture and Scylla, which is a smart contract language. And we actually really look at the blockchain trilemma of scalability, security, decentralization. And many of the other, like many chains say that okay, they are scalable and stuff, but you need to maintain a decent amount. You need to have decentralization and security as well, right? And so we were one of the earlier ones to launch sharding, and now ETH 2.0 is also working on such a mechanism. Like this is how we sort of compare to some of the chains, in terms of throughput and our consensus mechanism and stuff. So our consensus is actually PBFT, but we also use proof of work to actually yeah, we also use proof of work to ensure Sybil resistance. And yeah, it's actually very interesting mechanism where the proof of work is used in some time interval. It's not like we do proof of work for every block. um, but yeah, and coming to some of our DeFi things, this is like the Zilliqa blockchain. The throughput is around 2,500, and this is with around 3,600 nodes. So and around 6 shards. So each shard has around 600 members. Um, and Scylla, the smart contract language itself, is very secure by design, and basically a lot of one of the professors at NUSC is leading our Scylla sort of initiative, and Scylla is functional programming language, and it's very safe. It's been designed in such a way that it's very difficult for you to make errors. And many of the projects this project called Zilshop, right, that launched, and they actually didn't they were really happy with the safety of Scylla, and we got their code audited and stuff, but it was really straightforward because Scylla itself is a functional programming language, and it's formally verifiable. And so this is like an AMM built on Zilliqa, and right now it launched, I think early Feb, and it has around 55-60 million locked in liquidity. Um, and yeah, so Scylla has been it has been really good for projects that have launched in Zilliqa, and we haven't had any hacks or something so far, but yeah, and this is some of our ecosystem, and some dApps that I've built using Scylla. There's just some examples. Also, then Mintable is an NFT marketplace, where you could buy NFTs and stuff. So like this artist called Soulja Boy, he's a very famous rapper. He, we are working with him very closely. He, dropped some NFTs on Mintable, and it's if you're working especially in the NFT space, I would highly recommend to check out Mintable and Zilliqa, because the fees are really less, and we have a good ecosystem, as well, of people, NFT buyers, and artists and influencers and stuff. um, yeah, so these are some example applications that have been built, and if you want to get involved, you could get in touch with me on Twitter, and we have some grant programs and stuff as well, that you could gain access to, and you could kickstart your journey, building on DeFi and NFTs and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that completes my talk. Hopefully, it was a good learning experience. And if you have any questions, let's do it right now.
Hey Arnav,
Uh,
thanks a lot. Pretty good session, and thank you. We have some questions. The first question comes from Anjum. He's asking, what is your realization on the progress of DeFi adoption in the near future? And I'll add, like on top of it, most of the DeFi is being built on Ethereum. I would say more than 95% or 99% almost. Like all of them are on Ethereum. Do you see that shift going away from Ethereum? Can we expect the market cap of DeFi separate from Ethereum, or is it always going to be correlated?
yeah, I think the shift is already happening, right? Like with Binance Smart Chain. Just to answer that question first, is that, yeah, I guess this year, I think many people would be amazed at how much stuff is going to happen on some other chains and stuff, because I've seen a lot of work happening with bridges and various, like with Polkadot and all that. Like Compound is also like launching their own chain on Substrate, and so I think this year actually a lot of stuff will be moving away from Ethereum. I think the challenge is that uh, the Ethereum has a very good developer tooling, and like the developer ecosystem is really good there. So it could be that the projects actually maybe use EVM based mechanism, or some EVM based chain, um, and stuff. But I think this year definitely I think this is going to happen, because right now ETH 2.0 is not launching soon with smart contracts, and people want to have DeFi NFTs applications right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, this year it will happen. And in terms of progress of DeFi, I guess it's like when something like product market fit hits, it's like it's really beautiful. And I think it then there is another 10x 100x left from there. So I think DeFi is going to like this is a product market fit, and you don't sell your winners. So that's one advice as well. And you don't you I guess, yeah, there's so much stuff going to happen, and I think now a lot of stuff is going to happen on getting traditional finance in DeFi as well. So yeah, I see a lot of growth happening in DeFi. And there's another question around when will we see DeFi day to day and stuff. Yeah, I guess there are some people who are working on creating a simple like application where you can earn like yield, and behind the scenes it will all be DeFi and stuff that's happening. But for normal people, they won't know. So you would sort of like deposit money from your bank account, and then you would be able to earn like 10% interest or 7% interest or whatever, which is a lot for many countries, right? For especially for USD, earning 10% interest or 7% interest is a lot. In India, the interest is quite high, for example. So you might not especially in some banks.
Yeah.
But for some other countries, like I guess this would be really awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Arnav, you touched upon Ether Delta and then all the DeFi space that has been evolving and how people used to trade in the decentralized exchanges earlier in the days. But clearly, we have evolved from that. But again, the centralized lending is still happening with BlockFi, and the decentralized lending is also happening at the same time. How do you? Because I feel like there is a lot of user experience kind of a challenge that a user faces, a normal user, when they go through MetaMask and all of that. Do you see those boundaries thinning down in the future for a normal user to be able to use a DeFi lending and borrowing platforms?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think right now, I think why people use BlockFi, like most of the people that I've seen, like it's the issue that I mentioned. Like maybe they're worried about smart contract risk, or they are not familiar with using MetaMask. And BlockFi is a centralized company. They have some, they sort of work in a traditional way, right? Like I think they publish some numbers and stuff of how much assets they have and stuff. So people trust that, and many like most of the, I guess, people who sort of use financial services, like normal financial services that exist currently, they prefer something like BlockFi. I think like there will definitely be a a place for both these players, and there could be a scenario that many of these like BlockFi and decentralized systems sort of integrate some DeFi projects in the back end for some of their offerings, and they offer some of the functionality there. But yeah, I guess it's like I think there's a market for both of this separately as well. Like some if I want to do things in a non-custodial way, right, then I can only do so in DeFi. And the BlockFi also, if I don't want to do KYC and stuff as
Yeah,
well, then
yeah, yeah, yeah.
also
Yeah, of course. Okay, just one last question that we have, Arnav. You talked a lot about NFTs. So why are people buying NFTs for, like, a normal person can't understand, because they look at it as a speculative instrument only. There is no intrinsic value behind it. Like, how do you make sense out of that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think so the initially if you look at the NFT market, right, so initially it started with crypto people getting rich, and they just wanted to diversify and and stuff by, so like if you have someone made 10-20 million, they're like, I don't care, I'll put in 100K in an NFT or whatever. But right now, I think what has happened is that especially with NBA Top Shots and all these things, a lot of the collector sort of community, like in US and stuff, and throughout the world, there people exist who collect things, right? Who collect Pokemon cards or some sneakers or some rare items, coins or whatever. So most of the community, if you go to the discords of NBA Top Shot and stuff, they are like 130K members in the Discord and stuff. Like most of the community is not crypto people. So it's like, I think so those people and normal people have started buying in, and the value proposition that they see is that it's so easy to verify items, right? Like on blockchain, you can see the record of all the items. Very easy to verify, it's very easy to sell, it's very easy to integrate things like royalties, where for an artist, for example, if their art is getting sold, some percentage gets back to them for every sale. That can't be easily integrated when things are not on chain, like and stuff. So I guess the value, so it's difficult to explain, but I think NFT space itself has become so big. Like there are so many different areas that people are buying it for, and many people have various thought processes or valuation mechanisms that they're using. So it's like the collecting community, they like it for blockchain, everything is on chain. For crypto DeFi people, it's just gambling, some sort of diversification, or like for CryptoPunks, Hashmas, it's like it has a storyline around it. You just buy it for that storyline, and you hope that the price goes up, or you just buy it for the sentimental value, like you buy any art. For people who say that NFTs are crazy, I would highly recommend you to read about the art market and watch some documentary and stuff and see like the numbers, like the $7-8 billion of sale that Christie's does, and also 7-8 billion that or Sotheby's does per year, or something, some around those numbers. So it's like it's only a very tiny fraction of that. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
so.
right.
There's a question about
I
retail.
definitely have to do those that research for sure. So one question comes. We'll take this one as the last one. What's your take on recent NFT drop? $1 artwork being flipped for 93K. Is that going to be a new normal going in the future?
I think this. So I'm not. I think I saw about this drop. Beeple, I follow Beeple obviously because he's a very famous crypto artist. But I think he dropped some. This he doesn't do like $1 like every time. Like he does like this one he did it like once or something, if I remember correctly. So I think it's just that people are valuing it at 93K. It's not like any people is like really really popular in the NFT world, and he I think he also did a sale on Christie's for 6 million or something. So it's just that people value him as an artist, and even if he like posts some black screenshot or something and sells an NFT, that will also sell for 100K or something.
Okay,
So
that's
yeah,
funny.
it's
Yeah,
but like look at CryptoPunks. They were dropped for free, right? You are talking about $1 for 93K. CryptoPunks you were dropped, like anyone would, when Larva Labs guys they push it up, you could buy it for free. And now they are selling like the base punk is around, I think 30K or something is the price, and the good ones are selling for millions, right? $1 or $2 million or whatever.
wow.
So yeah, it does happen. Bitcoin was also free $1 sometimes. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow, interesting. Great, Arnav. Thank you so much for taking out the time and coming and speaking on these topics. It was very very interesting having you. And yeah, hope to have you again for the next hackathon.
Sure. Thanks,
Yeah.
Anupam.
All right, Arnav. Take care. Bye bye.